We're Ryan and Abby, and this is Lost Among Locals. In 2020, we quit our jobs to go travel the world. Here's how it went.
In our 6 weeks here in Costa Rica, we've seen some pretty amazing beaches. Here are our top 6. Here we go.
Number 6, Brasilito Beach. Now, let me just warn you before you even look it up. Brasilito itself is not pretty, but the reason we put it on this list is because of the local vibe. Brasilito is a small, awesome town in the Flamingo Bay area, which is in Costa, Costa Rica, way up here in the northwest corner. Some of the most beautiful beaches in the nation are in that corner. Brasilito is not one of them. But it is a place for you to get a cheap stay in an Airbnb or a local hotel. There's fabulous local restaurants. There's some that sit right on the beach that make the best fruit smoothies and pina coladas. And it's right next door to 2 of the most amazing beaches in Costa Rica. So it really is a good spot to land for the night or 2 and get a cheap accommodations, have a local meal, and meet some folks.
Yeah, especially if you're on a budget, it's a good place because I said right next to it is pretty expensive.
The big boy.
It's the big boy.
Number 5. Cinco, folks. We are learning some Espanol. Number 5. Uvita Beach. Uvita Beach is famous for its amazing whale's tail. So basically at low tide, the water recedes from Uvita Beach, revealing a shoreline that looks exactly like the tail of a whale. So it's pretty awesome. We've seen some amazing photos of it. We were dying to get some drone footage.
But then we ran into a little catch. The tide.
We'll just show you.
We'll show you.
Guys, beware of cocoa drills.
Well, unfortunately, the ranger has come and kicked us all out of the park at 4 o'clock. And told us that we can't take photos, we can't do anything, we can't stay. Low tide is not even till 5:30. So even if you would have gotten here earlier, you couldn't take pictures of it. So we're super disappointed.
So we debated on whether to even show you this video of Uvita or not. But we decided to go ahead because this is the truth of travel. Sometimes you really build something up in your mind, you're really excited to get there, you're really excited to show it to people, and then it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen the way you planned for whatever reason. And that's just sort of part of the game.
We were there for the whale's tail, and we got some misinformation that we could go in, even though we were right at closing time, that we could stay a lot later. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We were kicked out right at 4 o'clock, told to leave. We were only there for about 30 minutes, maybe max.
As soon as we made the long walk out to the tail, Ryan was getting out the drone and they came by in the 4-wheeler and kicked us off. So, and they did it rather rudely, not just to us, but to several people. Basically, when we asked if we could have 5 minutes to film, he said, you have 2 minutes to get to the gate to get out. Unfortunately, we were only in this area for a day, so thank you to our beautiful Belgian friends, Florence and Arthur, who loaned us their aerial footage. They took some beautiful drone footage, and we had been admiring their pictures on Instagram, and so we just happened to text them and say, hey, can we borrow some footage? Explain to them what happened, and they were so gracious to let us steal some footage for this video. So we appreciate you guys. You are awesome. Check them out on Instagram, on the Soul. We'll link them like up here.
Somewhere,
down here. Somewhere. Long story short, if you go to Uvita Beach, guys, make sure you get there on time. I don't even know how you're going to do that because low tide's not till like 5:30. Check the tide chart. There's an Uvita Beach tide chart. Oh, and by the way, Uvita Beach is not actually called Uvita Beach. It is in Marina Balena National Park, which is a beautiful park. It is a big, beautiful stretch of beach, even if you can't get to the whale's tail. The jungle is thick and lovely. We saw monkeys there,
we did,
like playing around, lots of animals. And there is a natural water slide nearby to Uvita. It's a cute little town with a great grocery store and a couple of great restaurants and one of the best Airbnbs that we stayed in all of Costa Rica.
Oh yeah.
With a swimming pool.
Yes.
It was lovely, the people were lovely. So we do recommend at least to stay in Uvita. Maybe just get there in the morning, spend the day in the park, stay one night and move along. Number 4, Drake's Bay. Drake's Bay is hard to get to.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness.
But it is worth it.
Yes.
So to get to Drake's Bay, you will need a 4x4 vehicle.
Absolutely.
It is a dirt road, and you're going to cross some creeks a few times.
Yes.
They have built a new bridge, so you don't have to actually cross a river anymore, but you will still cross some water a few times.
And it's pretty bumpy.
It is
so,
pretty bumpy.
Yes.
Go slow, drive safe.
Yeah, I would say no cars. I would say,
yeah, you need an SUV at least with some clearance. Maybe not four-wheel drive, but at least with some clearance.
Yes.
So just know that. But the area of Drake's Bay is absolutely stunning.
Yes.
It's near Corcovado National Park, which is the wildest and most wonderful part of Costa Rica. It is still very untamed. The whole area is a national reserve, and the wildlife is the superstar.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just off our balcony, we watched some parrots fight with each other and play around.
Yeah, huge scarlet macaws. They were beautiful.
Yeah, they were beautiful. And there was a bunch of birds flying around, huge iguanas. I mean, yeah, the wildlife is crazy in that area.
So the tours into Corcovado Park are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I think the big hike was like $190 or something like
Yeah.
that. Don't quote me on that, but it was quite a lot.
It was somewhere around there, yes.
So we actually took a local tour guide. Again, you guys are learning that these are our favorites. But our friend Paul that was traveling with us had gone with this guide a couple of years before and happened to still have his phone number. So we called up Gustavo. Gustavo was born and raised in Corcovado near the Drake's Bay area, and he knows that for us like the back of his hand.
Oh.
So it's about a 7-hour tour. He picks you up in the afternoon. You do a day hike to see as many sloths and monkeys and birds as you can.
Yeah.
Then he takes you for a lovely dinner at a local farmer's house that they prepare for you. And then you go back out into the forest at night where we saw kinkajous.
Yes.
We saw several night birds. We saw, of course, spiders and lots of mating frogs.
Yeah, lots of frogs. Yeah.
In pairs.
Yep.
And we got to see a tapir. It was huge. They're huge.
They're massive.
And so yeah, that was really, really cool. We got to see a lot of wildlife with Gustavo. Plus, he knows everything about the jungle, like literally everything. And it is a dense, beautiful part of the forest with waterfalls, and it's just a lovely, lovely hike.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can go swimming, and he is so much fun to be around because all the knowledge he has, and he makes like all the bird sounds and everything, which again is amazing how good they are. The frog sounds, it was so much fun.
He can imitate like every animal in the forest. He's amazing. Definitely check out Gustavo. His link is down in the description. He's an awesome guy if you go to Corcovado. He charged us like $50, I think for
so,
like a 7-hour tour.
Oh,
it was super awesome and worth every penny.
Yes.
There is also a nice little restaurant in Drake's Bay. It's a very small town that sits on a beautiful beach, little crescent-shaped beach, lovely water, a few restaurants right on the water. Our favorite restaurant was called Delicias Bahia Drink. It was right across the street from our Airbnb. We stayed in Jade Mar Airbnb, which was fine. Simple accommodations, but air conditioning and a view and lovely kitchen, all we needed. But across was Delicias Bahia Drink, and oh my goodness.
I mean, there wasn't anything that we ordered from there that we did not like.
We're so impressed.
It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, for this little town in the middle of nowhere, it was one of the best restaurants we ate at in Costa Rica. Everything you ordered off the menu, us or our friends, was fabulous. Like, fabulous. And cheap. It was really cheap. So, one of the more affordable areas aside from the tours. The tours are expensive.
Yes.
All right, number 3, Conchal Beach. Conchal Beach is special because, again, it's up in the Flamingo Bay area, that northern part of Guanacaste. Conchal Beach is one of the other reasons that we mentioned Brasilito. So you can walk right down Brasilito Beach over a small path, really, really small, lovely walk, and you're on Conchal Beach all of a sudden. The most beautiful white beach where it's not really sand, it's made of white seashells. for quite a ways. And then you walk farther down the beach and it does turn into sand. But Conchal Beach is great for families. There's always families out there. There are some umbrellas there. There is actually a resort at Conchal Beach Resort and Hotel. So you can have a nice, more expensive place to stay if you'd like to, or you can also stay in Brasilito for super cheap and just walk there because it's literally right outside your door. Number 2, which is actually my personal favorite, Pinka Beach. Pinka Beach is the most adorable white sand beach with all these palm trees and lush forest in the background, and then over on the side there's just huge rocks and cliff and tide pools and tons of crabs and colorful fish, and the water's the most lovely blue-green and the waves are perfect.
It was really nice.
It has a view of all the islands out in the middle. There's nowhere to stay on Pinka Beach. There's like one hotel near, but here's the thing. About 5 minutes down the road from Pinka, you have Flamingo Bay, which is a huge area. We'll talk to you about that in a minute. And then you have about 20 minutes down the road, you have Brasilito and Conchal Beach. So they're all in that Guanacaste area within a very short drive of each other. So it's a great place to make your hub.
Yes.
But Pinka Beach is definitely a spot where you should go spend the day. The best thing about Pinka is there's usually 1 or 2 families of locals there, and there's nobody else there.
Yeah, it was pretty, there's almost nobody.
You have it all to yourself. All to yourself. Number 1. Number 1's a tie.
Number 1 was hard for us.
It's a tie because 1 really suits us, and 1 would really suit a lot of other people. So here's our tie. First number 1, Flamingo Bay. Flamingo Bay is a haven for expats. So there are tons of condos. There's a Margaritaville there. There's lots of cute little restaurants. It's a great place to book a tour. When my mom and I were there a couple years ago, we booked a snorkeling tour with Lazy Lizard. They were a fabulous company. Took you out around the islands. There's some beautiful snorkeling in the area. It's a great place to watch for whales. There is a marina there, so you can take sailboat tours and all kinds of things like that. So it is definitely a more touristy, set-up place to be.
Which means it costs quite a bit more.
Yes, because of the tourist issue and because of the expat issue, it's big bucks to stay in Flamingo Bay. However, it's big bucks on a backpacker budget. When I went there 2 years ago with my mother on vacation, we were only going to be there for a week. We went into this beautiful 2-bedroom apartment. I think it cost us $600 or something of that nature on Airbnb. It had a balcony that overlooked the marina. It was absolutely on the water. It had a private beach, all of the above. So $600 for the week, 2-bedroom, perfectly new, beautiful apartment. So if you're on vacation, Flamingo Bay is perfectly doable. And the Flamingo Bay Resort and all of those Airbnbs in that area actually have a private beach on one side and the Flamingo Bay on the other side. Flamingo Bay is a very large, crescent-shaped, white beach. White beaches are really rare in Costa Rica. So it's one of the only, at least on the Pacific side, so it's one of the only white beaches, and it is a lovely, lovely area. So we definitely recommend that you at least visit Flamingo Bay and maybe even make it your home, because there's several beaches within 20-minute drive of Flamingo Bay. So basically you have Flamingo Bay, 20 minutes down Brasilito, 1 minute down walk Conchal Beach. So they are kind of all right in there together. So if you're taking your family, if you want a nice quiet vacation in a place that's lovely and won't give you any hardship, Flamingo Bay. If you like to rough it a little bit more and you want something with a little more personality, we personally love Montezuma. Montezuma is the most glorious coastline. You guys probably saw it on our Instagram. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
We couldn't take enough pictures of this place.
No.
It has all these stretches of kind of not white, but light sand beaches, and then rocky coves, and then sandy coves, and then rocky outlets. And so it's so much fun. There's so many tide pools, animals, lizards, iguanas, birds. And the little hotel that we stayed at was a very cheap, very simple hotel called Hotel Montezuma. It sits right on the water, but the best part of it was the great big balcony.
Yeah, we had a big balcony that we pretty much spent a lot of our time. We spent a lot of time there.
I drank my coffee there,
And
ate my lunch there.
each morning,
there.
and because it had this beautiful view of the little cove area that it sat at and the beach, and it was just,
Yeah, amazing. So if you walk down the coastline, you actually hit like a state, not a state park, a national reserve of some sort, yeah. And there's a long stretch of beach, Playa Grande down there that you can actually learn to go surfing.
Yes.
Yeah, which we did.
I was really excited about that,
We kind of did it, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Ryan better than me, but
not great, but
we sort of did it.
that was the first time I've ever done that.
Yeah,
so.
we made it work.
Yeah.
We'll definitely try again sometime.
Yes.
I almost got lost trying to get there. I had no idea where I was going, and I thought you just walked down the beach. Turns out I was like climbing over boulders in my flip-flops, going through crevices, crossing rivers with all the camera equipment. And then I get there to find out that there's a trail. There's a trail that just goes up and, you know, walks flat over all of that. It would have taken me like 20 minutes instead of the hour and a half that it took me to get there on my treacherous route.
Oh, you gotta be flipping kidding me. There's been a trail this whole time. I just came through that trail. That. I'm gonna kill my husband.
I was cussing Ryan the whole way because he didn't tell me how dangerous it was. And then I got there and realized that that's because it wasn't. I just chose the wrong path. Anywho, Montezuma has the most local, lovely vibe about it, but it really is not a lot of locals.
No.
It's a lot of backpackers and travelers.
Yes.
There are some lovely restaurants there. There's an organic restaurant there. There's a couple of local spots there. There's a great grocery store, but it's all kind of packed into this one little corner. There's not much to it.
Nope.
There's a bunch of hostels, a couple of Airbnbs, and like one or two decently nice hotels. Downfalls to Montezuma. It's loud.
It is loud.
It probably wouldn't be if you stayed in one of the Airbnbs up on the hill. The bad part about the hotel we stayed in was it was literally the first one ever built, and it's in the center of town.
Yes.
So everybody who was there to party was there to party outside our window all night long.
All night long.
Pretty much every night.
Yeah.
Or a lot of nights.
Most of the nights.
Montezuma is the kind of place that if you want to go build a fire on the beach, just go build a fire on the beach. If you want to lay naked on the beach, go for it. If you'd like to just sleep out there and not rent a room at all, you can do that too. It's just kind of a free place. So we did enjoy parts of it.
Yeah.
Also, the Wi-Fi's terrible. So really weirdly in Montezuma, there's one of the most critically acclaimed restaurants in all of Costa Rica. It's called Artistas. It sits right on one of the beautiful sandy coves in Montezuma, and they serve some weird stuff.
Yep.
That's fabulous.
It's
one of those places where your plate costs too much and it's really, really beautiful, but you don't get enough food, so you have to go to the grocery store afterwards. It's one of those places.
But it tastes amazing.
You get some really, really interesting stuff there, and it's beautifully presented, and it's in a super great environment. So you should definitely try it at least once.
Yeah.
Montezuma is at least worth a stop. If you don't stay the night there, which if you have your family, I wouldn't, it's still worth a stop just to check out the area. It's a really cool area. It's super fun, it's super beautiful, and it's worth a day just playing in the tide pools and in the unpredictable tide. All right, guys, that's it. Those are our top 7 beaches of the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. We hope you found at least one you like. Let us know which one sounds the best to you. Drop it in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you even doing with your life?
Subscribe. Yes.
Push the button. Click it.
Hit the bell.
Click it. Hit the bell. Hit all the buttons.
And comment and say hey.
Yeah, and comment and say hey. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
Let us know if you love this video. Let us know if you hated it. And we'll see you soon. Now get lost.
Didn't tell me right by the airport.
website is down below us in the description. Sorry, we got an airplane. So it's actually right next to Brasilito. Guys, there's not a quiet place in all of Central America.
No, there is not.
There just isn't. There's not one single quiet place in all of Central America. All right.
Underprepared as usual. Why do I get myself into these things? It's just so very impulsive. I never take the time to think about all the things that I might need on an adventure. I just sort of go. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to marry someone who is gifted in all the qualities that you are not. Like sensibility.